Hi, and welcome to the WebRTC Fiddle of the month. And this time we're going to talk about ice restarts.
One of my favorite topics.
Okay, so the thing is this, we've got ice. It's this algorithm that runs everything to get our call connected in WebRTC. It goes, collects turn addresses, takes them, then run ice negotiations or connectivity checks, decides what got us connected, then we have a kind of a conversation, like the one we're having now, Philip.
Yes. And what you
Okay.
end up with is selecting a candidate pair to use.
Okay, so I've got my IP address connected to your IP address.
Yes.
We're
And
done.
that may change.
Why?
Well, for example, ICE can find a better pass that is not the first one that gets selected, but then it thinks, oh, there's a higher priority pass that's available to us. So let's switch
Mhm.
to that one. Or you
Okay,
can do an ICE restart after you failed.
and that's because I'm on a mobile network and I'm moving to Wi-Fi and back.
Yes.
Okay,
And your application needs to handle that in some way.
okay, and you have a fiddle for us for that.
Yes. So let's look at the fiddle. So it's pretty standard. We have two buttons, one for a start, another for restart, and a log area.
Mhm.
And here we have, of course, the log area to show something. We create two peer connections, wire up the on ICE candidate handlers to the other side's add ICE candidate. And we also have the ICE connection state change event that we listen to.
Okay,
So that's fairly simple. That tells you whether ICE is connected. And then we have here the start button handler, which calls get user media with audio, adds the track to the peer connection, creates an offer called set local description. And then after set local description, we have a ICE transport object,
okay,
at least in Chrome and Safari. Firefox doesn't implement that yet, sadly.
okay,
And we can have two events on that. One is the state change on the ICE transport, which is a lower level variant of the peer connection ICE connection state change event.
and why do we need the lower level one? What's the difference between them?
Uh, Typically, you don't care much about that one. You want the overall ICE connection state change.
Okay,
Unless you're doing fancy things like not bundling, then this might be useful. But in general, I wouldn't care much.
okay,
And then we have this selected candidate pair change event, which gives you a local and remote candidate. And that happens whenever ICE changes what is selected as the candidate pair.
hmm,
And then we call set remote description, create an answer, set local description, set remote description with the answer, and we're done. And then we have the restart, which is, we're doing it a bit old style. We call create offer with ICE restart set to true.
hmm.
And then do the usual set local description, set remote description, create answer, set local description, set remote description stuff.
Okay, but in real life, we won't be doing that with a button. We'll simply wait for an event to occur that will
Yes.
ask us to do a restart.
Yes. Typically, I would do it like 3-4 seconds after a ICE connection state change to disconnected. I wouldn't even wait for the failed event because that takes 30 seconds, which
Okay.
is a bit of a unacceptable user experience.
So like we start a call, we get to a connected state, we're happy. If we get disconnected state, your suggestion is to wait 2 or 3 seconds and then try to do a restart because it might work.
Yes.
Okay.
So if we do this, we click the start button. So we see the ICE connection state change goes to checking, the ICE transport goes to checking as well. And then we have the selected candidate pair change, which in this case shows my IPv6 address. And then the ICE connection state change goes to connected after that. Whether it
Okay.
should be in that order
But
would need some discussion, but it works.
this is interesting because we got the state, the um, candidate pair changed, but we didn't have a candidate to change from.
Yes, but it's a state transition from no pair selected to a pair selected.
Okay.
So all is good. Then we do the restart, which is a bit fake because we don't really get disconnected, but it shows how this stuff works.
Mm-hmm.
So we get another selected candidate pair change, and you will see here that the username fragment changed compared to the first version, and the port changed as well. And now
Okay.
we're running the traffic over the new connection.
Okay. And we didn't get another state connected because we were still connected.
Yes. And that is where the old version of the API was a bit better, because we can see here, let me see. This is where we do our create offer with ice restart set to true.
Mm-hmm.
And then we have this legacy ice connection state change to connect it.
Mm-hmm.
Even though the previous one was already, well, it was completed before, and we don't have that in the new API anymore. So there is no state change anymore. But that event is no longer available to JavaScript.
Okay.
So we need to use a selected candidate pair change to determine that things actually worked out.
Okay. And when we talked earlier, you said that there is only one or multiple problems with this new great callback, and that's
Yes.
being that it's
Only
Chrome
available
only.
in Chrome.
Okay.
Yes. Safari implements the ice transport API, but it doesn't have this event wired up.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Okay. So it's probably a matter of time because it's part of the specification anyway.
yes.
Okay. So just to sum things up, we collect the call, we get ice to be connected. We might have a restart, either because we want to or most likely because the network changes on us. And then we can use this new callback to know that that even happened and we succeeded in that process.
Right.
Okay. So thank you, Philip, and see you all next month in our next fiddle. Yay!
That went fairly well.